Welcome to Beyond the Bedroom. Thanks for joining me today. So let me ask you a few questions. Ready? First, what is oxytocin? Don't know? Well, let me ask it this way. Have you ever heard of the love or cuddle hormone? Yeah, yeah, yeah. You ready? Yeah. If so, do you believe that it's fact or fiction? Well, today we'll define and explore what oxytocin actually does, how it affects your relationship, and whether it really does create love. Now, before we get started, please like and subscribe to my channel. It will really help me get my message out there. Thanks a bunch. Now, let's start by defining this versatile hormone, oxytocin. First, oxytocin is a natural hormone and neurotransmitter produced in the hypothalamus and released by your pituitary gland. This hormone plays a significant role in bonding, connections, and intimacy. Now remember these words, bonding, connection, and intimacy, because you will hear me use them over and over again during this conversation. Now, let's look at the functions of oxytocin. The order that I explained these functions are not reflective of the order of importance that they are to the body. So here we go. Let's start with the function of birth. For women, oxytocin plays a tremendous part in childbirth. This hormone stimulates uterine contraction, acting to push the baby through the birth canal. Then, oxytocin aids in the bonding of the baby to the mother. So you will see after the mother gives birth, the doctor may lay the baby upon her breast or her chest. Sometimes even the father is doing the skin-to-skin touching, because when they lay that baby on your chest, that creates a bonding situation and oxytocin is released. But it's not through yet. When the mother is nursing and the mother's milk is about to come down, oxytocin plays a big role in getting the milk to flow so that you can nurse your baby. Yes, that's oxytocin. Next, let's talk about how oxytocin plays a role in friendships and family. Now, when it comes to family and friends, oxytocin is there creating social bonding. Okay. In those social bonding situations, studies show that oxytocin boosts the feeling of safety and reliability in your friendships. So you can produce the oxytocin when you're laughing and talking and bonding with your friends. It lowers your stress level, which can lead to the reduction of stress and anxiety, all because you're enjoying your time out. So when you're laughing and hee-heeing and talking and strengthening your bonds with your homeboys or your homegirls, oxytocin is also encouraging the fact that you can have empathy and really want to be around them and understand what's going on with your friends. Now, you heard me say oxytocin makes you have empathy for people because you're bonding to them. So you're probably thinking all those times you kind of looked and said, you know what? That's my homegirl. That's my sister. That's my brother. I mean, I love them anyway. That's that empathy. That's that oxytocin that made you forgive your family or friends that did something to you. So don't feel bad about it. It's just that oxytocin in play. Now, with all of that being said, let's move on to the function that we have all been waiting to talk about just a little bit. The function of oxytocin in sex, love, and relationships. Okay? Oxytocin plays a crucial part in the love bonding, sexual pleasure, and intimacy, emotional intimacy, that is. Although it is not the sole factor in sustaining or keeping your relationship, oxytocin doesn't magically create love. Instead, what it does is strengthen the emotional connection that you may have by increasing trust, attachment, and affection. So like when you first meet and you flirting and falling in love, the oxytocin release surges because the feeling of emotional safety with someone just kind of helps you bond. So when you get together and you're kissing and rubbing and hugging and touching, that also boosts the oxytocin and make you feel closer to the person that you're with. When you're sitting there talking and having those deep conversations, well, that's still oxytocin because it also makes you feel emotionally vulnerable, which can be an absolutely wonderful thing with the right person. Because when you're emotionally vulnerable, you can strengthen that romantic trust. So oxytocin is also closely tied to sexual desire and orgasms. This hormone released during the arousal is creating a sense of connection before, doing the deed, which makes it essential for the intimacy. Now, during orgasm, oxytocin surges, bringing you that immense pleasure and deepening that emotional bond. When you like them a little bit more at that moment, you know what I mean? Now you're feeling all relaxed and trusting, and you get that instinct to cuddle up afterwards. And that's the oxytocin kicking in. So, you may like him or her or whoever, just a little bit more right after, the big moment. Anyway, I digress. Now, I don't want to leave out that we live in a digital society now, right? And I realize everybody does not meet and fall in love in person. So I realized the world is changing and the way that we communicate is changing rapidly. So I don't want to overlook how oxytocin is released with those who utilize the digital world to meet and find love. Because oxytocin is still released while you're texting, talking, sharing one of those good heartfelt messages, and exchanging photos. Even likes and comments can trigger the release of oxytocin, but it's also in a less profound manner than physical touch. But it is still a bonding experience. So sometimes we have to just enjoy the bonding whenever and wherever we can get it to happen. So let's sum this up and answer the question that's at hand. No, oxytocin does not make you fall in love, but it does, however, promote bonding and connection. It strengthens your emotional connections by increasing trust, attachment, and affection. Now, I do want to acknowledge that some people will respond differently to oxytocin because your personality and past experiences can affect your ability to respond to bonding with somebody. And with that being said, I hope this little discussion has answered some of the questions that you may have about the love hormone. And just so you know, oxytocin does have a dark side. We can talk about that later. But if you want me to discuss that, leave me a comment letting me know you want to talk about the dark side of oxytocin. And I'll be more than happy to make you a video and explain it all to you. All right? But until then, please like, subscribe, share. It helps me out a bunch to get my message out. And I will see you the next time. Bye now.